I hope you're doing well. We have been having our normal week, and then I got an email from my the school for my kids, and said that things are that they've shut it down, and so it's all this whole thing is starting to get pretty real. And I started talking to my staff about how we can support everyone. And we really took a look at ourselves over the last couple of days and said, well, we're a meal planner, and we're in a position to help people as much as we can. Hi, do you see my face? By any chance? Katie?
We do.
Oh, hello. There might be a bit of a delay with my voice, but I just wanted to say hi. I'm the CEO. I'm Antony Bartlett, and welcome. This is my house. It's my piano right there. I play the piano. And the other person on the call is Katie Thompson, who's the Chief Operations Manager and runs around doing a lot of things for Real Plans as well. So welcome. I just wanted you to see an actual face. So my children are now off indefinitely. Two of them, 13-year-old and a 9-year-old, almost 10. And they're threatening to have online, classes or whatever with the teachers. But I think the teachers are scrambling too and trying to figure out how to continue the syllabus over the next few weeks with everybody on their FaceTime or whatever they're going to do, or maybe they're going to do a Zoom. But we've been talking at Real Plans internally about how we can support, meal planners out there with what's going on. I went to the Whole Foods, my local supermarket here in Los Angeles, 3 days ago, and there were whole sections of the supermarket that were just completely empty. There were all the chips were gone, the entire pasta aisle gone, as was the ragu and all that kind of stuff. And, the kind of the sauce to go on the pasta. And I thought to myself, that's funny, because I don't really use most of those shelves anyway. The food that I eat and the food that we have in Real Plans was still in the supermarket. And so I was like, oh, that's good. Maybe we can tie these two things together and talk a little bit about how to handle eating and planning over the next few weeks, especially if you have more people in the house than usual, if your children are at home, or you're trying to figure out how to shop smartly so you don't have to go to the shop so much and just get everything you need to make, a bunch of meals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my face off the screen here. Boom, gone. And I'm going to move over to Real Plans, and I'm going to show you what I've got going on, which, hang on, let me just change one little thing here. I want to show you, so I'm doing this for maximum effect, you see. I'm going to do it so that I show you this. Here we go. Okay, there we go. Everyone's waiting with bated breath. Here we go. Ta-da! That's my meal plan right now. I decided that I'm going to be a little rebellious on this call. I'm going to just create a meal plan from scratch. We have a system, as you well know, or if you don't know, hi, welcome to Real Plans, where you can create a diet type. I've already done that. I've got my gluten-free, can't eat wheat in America. Can eat. Went to Japan for a few weeks, 8 weeks there, I was fine. Apparently it's Monsanto that I'm allergic to, or Roundup at least. So don't eat wheat here, so I'm gluten-free. Other than that, I eat most things, and my family does too. And in here you can create scheduling. So you can say, how many dinners am I going to eat? How many of this? And you can set it up, and we will create a meal plan for you. But under these special circumstances, I was thinking, because next week the children are going to be here the whole time, which means that lunches are suddenly going to be a thing that wasn't a thing before, because they obviously do that at school. And they pick, my children, they just go to the fridge at random times, even when it's not meal. And my 13-year-old, who's 5'11", eats a lot and just keeps picking. keeps picking at the fridge and just grabbing things. So I wanted to sit with you and show you what I'm doing for next week, based on my understanding of what would be smart to do and how to do this right. So the first thing is that I did actually clear my meal plan. And so here's an empty meal plan here. And this is starting on Friday because this is this week. I could go to the next week here and start putting things on that too. Like I'll show you that. Here's a week that's going to be set up already based on my settings that I have set up so far. I've just got a few meals that I put in for inspiration. Oh, chicken lettuce cups, that's good. Oh, the chicken pot pie crumble. Now I love that. But I'm going to show you a different way of dealing with this. So look, so here's next week, right? It starts on Sunday, and I am going to clear the meal plan like this. There we go, and I've cleared it. Now, what's interesting is that I still have stuff in my shopping list. If you see here, I've still got 12 ingredients. Why do I still have 12 ingredients when I've cleared my meal plan? Let me show you what I get up to. Here are ingredients that I buy every week. So regardless of what meals I'm cooking, I always make sure that I have this stuff sitting in my fridge or in the pantry. And what I do is I add meals to my meal plan, but I make sure that these ones are definitely in my kitchen. And I do that by telling real plans that I want to buy something every week. So into the message board, put one ingredient that I don't have here that you like to check is in your pantry or fridge every week. And Katie, can you shout out the first one?
Sure. The first one is yogurt.
Yogurt, brilliant. Okay. So what you do in here, you start putting in yogurt like this, and you have all the yogurts under the sun. And if you don't want to commit to a particular type of yogurt, you just want one, you just find this one here and you put it into this little box here and you click the plus sign like that. Now in here, you can put I want 3 pots of yogurt or everything, or you just say, I just want 1 yogurt. It's just like a reminder, you know what I mean? It's like back in the day, I think you used to tie a knot in a handkerchief. At least I don't know if that reads in America, but in England you did. So anyway, you say, I want this every week. Like that, so you add that. Boom. So there's yogurt there now. Every week. And what you can do is then, let's say that I'm just wanting to do a basic shop. Then I have this, I clear my meal plan, and this is what I go shopping with when I go off to the store and disappear out, and go off to check off things that I already have. Now, that's one thing, having ingredients that you know that you want every week. And so in here, you can also add things like toilet paper, diapers, things that you might forget, or if you're sending someone else to go to the store and sticking real plans on your partner's cell phone and sending them out to go and get what's left to buy, then you can just add things here and remind them of what they need to get. Okay, so that's the shopping list side of things. Let's go over to the other side and back to the plan here. So here's an empty plan. Now, what am I going to do about that? Well, in my recipe box, there are a treasure trove of recipes that you can choose from. But if you are, overwhelmed by all of these recipes, and hang on, I'm going to show my face because I want to look at you like this. Hello. If you see all of those recipes over there, right, around me, and you're completely overwhelmed with all of the choice, then this is what this webinar is for, is to help you out to discern what's going to be really good for you over the next, few weeks, and what might work as things that you can put in the freezer. The kids are going to be into, assuming that you're going to be cooking for kids, and things that my family like to eat. And also, oh, great webinar so far. Thank you, Lindsay. Your message just came up on the on the thing. There's a little feedback loop right there. She's laughing probably right now. Lindsay's one of the customer support staff that we have. So anyone else wants to send me a Slack message, it's going to come up on the screen. So there are all these recipes that you can pick from. And what I want to do is I want to help you to show you how I go through this and how my staff go through this. We had a conversation over the last hour to see what are the best recipes in this scenario if you are having to kind of stay at home for a longer period. So there are these tags over here, and you can really kind of dial down. These tags down here, you see this one here, tags, you click show all like that. Well, down here, there's some really good ones, and one of them is like freezable. So you can click on freezable, and then you get stuff that's freezable. And then also, there is even a kids tag over here. And if you're concerned that they're not going to be into kind of, some of this adult food, you can even put junk food makeover in there, which is where we made food that would normally be considered junk food, but we created it in a way that it's actually quite good stuff. Anyway, so I'm going to take the junk food off. I'm going to stick to freezable right now and have a look at kids. And so here's a set of recipes. Now the order in which you see these recipes, you'll notice it's not in alphabetical order. Every time that you look at a recipe, you can say whether you like it or dislike it. If you dislike it, it disappears from your recipe box. If you like it, it's part of your liked recipes here. See, favorite recipes, liked. And what a lot of people do, a lot of the successful meal planners, is they add their likes to the recipes that they want. And now if you're getting an automated meal plan, then you get those liked ones first. Like we know to give you the ones that you said you liked. And then we still make sure the rest of the plan fits in context. I'm not giving you chicken, 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 or whatever. The same thing over and over again. But on here, we're ordering it also based on the number of people. So if you see this here, the like, I put all the likes at the top, and then here are all the ones that I don't have a like on yet, and yet everyone else likes it. So the top of recipe box is already ordered, crowdsourced by you guys, by tens of thousands of people using real plans who put a click on their recipes. And then so this Fiesta enchiladas, which I personally have never cooked, but one of my customer service staff said that it's one of their favorites, said that we should cook. So I'm going to add that one. I'm going to schedule that. I'm going to put that into next week, and I'm just going to throw that on to Sunday like that. And I'm going to put that on for lunch. Now I'm going to batch cook a bunch of stuff. I'm going to stay in the recipe box. Now, this is something that you can freeze. And when we talk about freezing as well, be sure that when you cook the whole thing, you let it cool so the condensation kind of is finished. So you're going to eat, what you want to eat, and then let it cool. And then you put it into plastic bags that will be able to be in portion size. So you don't have to defrost the whole thing. And then, a lot of you know all this. This is for people who maybe haven't frozen a lot of food before. But then you can cut it. And the other thing to do, which is really important, is to have a Sharpie on hand, or a black marker, if you don't know what a Sharpie is, if you're not in the States. And you just write onto the freezer bag what it is and the date. I'd keep stuff in there for up to 6 months. It's fine. But that's a really great trick if you want fresh vegetables. Now, before we select any recipes, let's talk a little bit about what's going on. So this week, there's been an escalation in the proliferation of this, the pandemic around the world. and everyone's dealing with it in different ways. Some people are ignoring it. Some people are just outright panicking. And really what I'm suggesting is that we keep our heads and keep them cool and go to the store and make things that are fresh, good for you, going to prepare you so that you're nice and healthy, and you can, in terms of long-term storage, you can freeze stuff. Otherwise, it's always great to have lots of leftovers sitting in your fridge. But I'm definitely going to make a bunch more food than I usually do. Like if I'm going to make, the fiesta enchiladas, I'll probably make 2 of them at the same time. It's quite efficient. Now, talking about whole foods then. So the pasta was all gone. The ragu was all gone. And I was like, oh, okay, so that's not what I really cook most of the time anyway. What do I cook? This is the kind of stuff I cook. There was lots of produce on the shelf because people mainly don't know what to do. So this carrot ginger soup, I have cooked many times and it's amazing. Let me just show you what's in it. Carrots, an onion, garlic, ginger, a lemon, chicken stock. There's some really nice herbs, and I totally suggest that you do this, and the cashews too. Give it a really, if you have an immersion blender where you can like blend this at the end. I don't even do the yogurt bit at the end, the yogurt, but I do the cashews and stuff. It's absolutely delicious, and it's got a beautifully rounded flavor. And you can make a bunch of this and put it into ball jars, into any containers you have, and you can defrost this stuff. Plus, it keeps in the fridge for a decent amount of time. But this is a really straightforward. I get a big pot. I have one of my hobbies is there's a little home theater back here, not a TV theater, but an actual legit theater where I have people come around and do little shows and stuff, like local singers in my town and stuff. There's this amazing 13-year-old girl who sings around town. So she comes every now and then and we all come around and I cook a massive soup for everyone. And this carrot ginger is always a favorite. And everyone's like, how did you do that? It's amazing. So anyway, this is a great soup to have. I would totally get that. You can schedule it either from there or you can just do it like this. Schedule. I'm going to stick that on Sunday too. Lunch schedule. Done. I'm going to stay in the recipe box. Okay. So you can go through doing these tags and going through and figuring out, soups and everything else. Now this guy here, the chicken pot pie crumble. Let me tell you about this one for a second. This one here is another one that you can freeze. Now you see these bits on here? If you happen to be a gluten-free person as well, and you're a little miffed about the fact that you are not allowed pastries and stuff like croissants when you go to a cafe. Or, I sit there salivating over all of the pastries when I go and get a coffee or something. I'm like, oh God, I wish I could eat all of that gluten, but I can't because then it all goes wrong for me. Oh, sorry, that was my friend calling. I'm going to put my phone on airplane. There we go. It's on airplane. So over here, this stuff here is almond flour, bacon fat, and I think, let me see what it is. Oh, and a little bit of baking powder, and that's it. And it creates the most delicious, amazing, crusty top. So if you're kind of yearning to have a pie, the chicken pot pie crumble is amazing and highly recommend it. I actually made it this week, but it was so good. I'm going to make it again. And I did a little movie about it. I'm going to stick it on the Instagram stories in the next 24 hours so you can see how it all came out. I'm going to schedule that guy too. I'm going to stick that on the Sunday like that. And then I'll put that for lunch as well. I'm going to batch cook. I'm going to batch cook all this stuff. Stay in recipe box. All right. Let's see what else there is. I'm going to scour around down here. So I asked a lot of my customer service staff what they do for stuff, and I put a few of these in here that I've yet tried. The shepherd's pie with lamb freezes really well. I'm kind of intrigued about that too. You know, in a time when everyone's like going to the store, everyone seems to get the same thing. And I bet you there's some lamb on the shelves too. So I'm going to do that as well. Okay, I think that's sufficient.
Also,
So, oh, hello, Katie.
sorry, I was just going to add in, if you're similar to my family and kids who won't eat lamb, it's super easy to swap out protein on these. If you simply open up the recipe, wherever it went, there it is.
Yeah.
You can walk them through how to do that.
Oh, yeah. So you can change this. You can modify it. And you can go, yeah, this is no longer lamb. This is, you know, just beef. And then you can change this ground lamb, ground beef like that, and save it. And then now this is your recipe, and it still recognizes all of that. It knows that ground beef is a meat and a seafood, and you still want a pound of it, and you can confirm that. And look how it says you need parchment paper and aluminum foil. Is that aluminum foil? Aluminum. You can add that to your system, and then this becomes a recipe that has been imported by you, and there it is. So, I mean, no one would ever know that wasn't that is lamb, but no one would ever know. So then you can schedule that. I'm just doing this for fun. So put that on the Monday and schedule that, and off you go. Now I'm going to go to the meal planner. So you can see here how if I go over to the week that I'm on, there it all is. And there's a shopping list that has everything that I need to handle all of these different recipes. And I can go over to the shopping list here, and then I can find everything I need. Now, 16 carrots, oh, that's a lot. What's all that about? Well, you can hover over the carrots and you can go, oh, I needed 8 for the carrot ginger soup. Well, that makes sense. It's carrot soup. 2 for the, 4 for the pot pie crumble. 2 for the shepherd's pie. Oh, I added the shepherd's pie twice. Oh, let's go back and deal with that. Yeah, I added this twice. So I'm going to take that out like that. And I'm going to just put that into the trash can like that. Okay, that's gone. Now, let's have a look at this soup here. Right now I'm cooking for 4, but I might say I want to get 8. And you see how it's now changed it to 16 carrots? That's pretty cool, isn't it? Now I've got 16 carrots, and I can do this to any of those recipes. I can go through and I can say, well, I want to double up that recipe. Another way of doing that is you can say, I want some leftovers, right? So there's multiple ways of dealing with real plans. There's multiple ways of getting to the same point. I can take this Fiesta Enchiladas here. I can just drag it down like that. And it says, do you want to move this recipe or create a leftover? I'll create a leftover. So now that's a really easy way of doubling up. So now I'm going to make 2 batches of this stuff. Let's do the same with that one. I'm going to make a leftover out of that one too. And that one. Oh, no. Oh, and this one too. There we go. So now if I go into here, see, cook for 8. So now I need double all of this stuff. And now my shopping list has the correct amount in there. And so that creates the right shopping list, and I can go off and I can make a bunch of food for my kids. So I'm going to use this. This is my meal plan. I'm going to go to the shops. I'm going to see what I can get. And here's another thing, is that with having a shopping list that you can actually, use, it means that a shopping list that makes sense. You go to the shops, and then what happens? I'm going to share my face again because I'm talking. Hi. So you go to the shops, and then you discover that there is no X there. And the whole thing is based, for the purposes of our thing, let's say there's not a lot of carrots, and you need to figure out. Now, either you can substitute it, you could use some parsnips, or you could use, something else to substitute your carrot. But really, if you're making a carrot soup, and, there are no carrots, then that's pretty bad. So what you can do is you can use your cell phone in order to add a new recipe based on what's in there, what's in the store. So you're still not stuck, because all of this is sitting on your cell phone on an iOS app or an Android app. We've spent a long time making it all work on those phones. And this shopping list will be on your phone, and then you can go off to the store and you can make changes on the fly. You know, I was speaking to someone this week, one of the things that most crazy about going shopping is that moment where you cross the threshold of the supermarket or the store and you go, oh, what do I do now? And you end up going, oh, well, I like chicken, so I'll buy a chicken. And I kind of like this. And you don't have a plan. And with all of the craziness going on and all of the, news stuff and everything to do with this virus, we really feel that we can help. And we feel that we're a meal planner that can support people and keep them eating fresh food and have a plan so that you don't feel and succumb to fear and feeling that you don't know what you're doing, especially as circumstances are changing so rapidly. And perhaps, like me, you now have your children in the house where you didn't have it before. So I think that's it. That's all I want to talk about. Katie, is there anything that you want me to mention, or does anyone have any questions that I can answer?
Sure. I think one of the biggest things that will be useful is showing how I can shop for longer than just next week, since I don't know, if I'm going to be able to leave the house next week, what kind of regulations we're going to have in place. What if I want to have a couple weeks worth of food?
How would you do it?
Sure. So I actually plan out 2 weeks in a row. And so
Okay.
If you have that other week, it may already be planned.
Yeah. So let's say that this is next week and I'll go back a week here, and then I can add a recipe this way too. Let's say I'm going to add the chicken and, I'm going to add a quiche. I forgot to mention quiches. I love quiches. So I'm just going to add a nice vegetarian quiche like this. And I'm going to save that. Okay, so I now have a recipe in this week, and I have all of my recipes for the following week. What do I do now?
So go to the shopping list there on the left.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little weird when you don't have control of the mouse. And then in that top right with the calendar icon, I then just make me a custom date range.
Oh, in here, custom date range,
yes.
like that.
Yep.
And then what we can do, so this is a feature that a lot of people find really rather useful. And so what I'm doing here is I'm putting the 13th. I just wanted to know, Katie, where you were going, because I talked about freezer meals and stuff. And I was like,
oh sure.
Does Katie, I was like, oh no, I built real plans, but there's something I don't know about that Katie does, and I'm not talking about it. Okay, good.
Just custom date range.
All right, good. All right, so we'll continue that. So just custom date range. So then you can go here, and then you can say, all right, well, I want to go let's go from the 13th, and I'm going to end on the 21st here. So I'm covering 2 weeks at the same time, and I can apply that. See, like so, and I can select that. And what that does is that then that creates a shopping list that covers all the things. So you'll notice I still have, we've got 28 carrots now. Look at that, 16 for the carrot ginger soup. And so I've still got that, but remember I added the quiche? Ta-da! There's the quiche. So what you can do is you can put 2 weeks worth of food in. And what's great about putting in, planning out 2 weeks of food is that you can go, all right, well, I had a pretty heavy week last week when I was dealing with a lot of kind of grilled stuff or stuff like that. And then the following week, I want to kind of lighten it up a little bit and do a few more things. And so you can then get a shopping list that's consolidated for the whole 2 weeks. And actually what we do is we give you 4 weeks worth of meal plans. If you don't want to go into all of this, and this feels all very intimidating, like picking your own recipes and doing that, just let Real Plans do what it's designed to do. Put in how many recipes you want to cook each week. And it'll then create 4 weeks worth of meal plans. You can go and look at each one, make any changes you want, grab a shopping list that covers the entire date range, and you just go and have at it. The thing I would advise there, though, is that if you are in like the 3rd or 4th week and you've got some fresh vegetables in there, you need to start thinking through how you're going to kind of freeze stuff. If in the last week, on the last day, it says, ooh, buy some kale, you got to think that through, because you're not going to have kale all right in 4 weeks' time sitting in the fridge. Katie, does that cover it?
It does cover it. Can you be very specific and show us where in the plan to see all those weeks?
Oh, yeah, sure.
I know you did a little moving around, but just to...
Yeah, of course. So if I go back to the plan here, so I can move forward. Once I've made my choices, so here I'm going, so this is the one that I created myself. Here's the one that I cleared, so I'm going backwards. Now I'm going forwards again, so this is next week. But this next one here is an automated plan. So it's already considered what meals have been scheduled prior to this plan, as it keeps a history, and then goes, all right, well, you haven't had the minestrone soup with some roasted potatoes, and you haven't had some spaghetti squash Alfredo or some chicken lo mein. So it's inspiring you to think about things that you might not normally cook and go at it. And what we're doing is we're still scheduling the crowdsourced recipes that everyone's like into. And then you can go another week. And then what it's going to do, and it's not instant, because if you haven't looked at the plan yet, it doesn't exist yet. But now it is. There we go. There it is. So there's even more food over here. Some slow cooked pork. Now that slow cooked pork's really good. And I do like my classic mashed potatoes sitting in the fridge that I then have for breakfast. Is that good, Katie?
Well, minus the mashed potatoes for breakfast. That's quite the choice.
Oh yeah, no. What I do is that, so every time I cook the bacon, I keep the bacon fat in a. I put it on my Instagram story how I render the lard. But then what I do is I put some bacon fat in the pan, and then I make the potatoes into little patties, and then I throw them in the pan, and then I have those with my bacon.
Oh, like potato pancakes.
Yeah, little potato pancakes. They're delicious.
Very nice.
Yeah, a little salt on there. Boom, boom. I like food. Anything else, Katie?
I think that just about covers it.
All right, great. Does anyone have any questions out there that they want to have answered, that they want to know about?
We don't have any so far.
Great. All right. Well, I hope you find this useful. Good luck over the next few weeks. We're here to support you, and we want to just be as useful as we can. Thank you so much for your time. Oh, yeah.
Oh, there went your face. Our customer support just for everyone is also well-versed in all these ideas. So if you miss the recording or you think of something after this, feel free to pop in and just ask them, hey, what is your favorite dish to freeze, or how would you shop during this time? And we are full of ideas and want to help, regardless of whether you've used real plans before or not. We are certainly happy to answer those questions for you.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you for your time.